There is one holy device that I swear by. I unashamedly use this in every single one of my tracks that I make. It's kind of sad. So I'm going to show you what the hell this thing is and how I use it in 5 levels of complexity. If you make it to the end, your mind will be exploded with creative possibilities. Sorry, one last thing before I jump in. There is a free sound design device that I made that's just in the top line of the description. I'm going to talk about it later and why the hell it is there. But if you were to just grab it and then exit this video, I wouldn't be mad. So what is this device? You may have guessed already, it's called LFO Tool. It's definitely not anything new, but trust me, I'm going to show you some things. Level 1, let's start off by just familiarizing ourselves with the basic function of it. Immediately loaded up is just like this side chain shape, which, yes, it's probably most known for just being used as a side chain. So that means that it's just going to duck the bass line so it doesn't clash with the kick drum. Let's plug in some notes. I'm just going to do like a dotted 8th note rhythm every 3rd, 16th note. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I have LFO Tool placed there, and you can see that it's... So whenever it layers with the kick drum, which is every quarter, then it ducks it according to this shape. Great. Very simple, very useful. Over here on the right side, you can see LFO routing, and we have volume amount, and this volume is 100%. So that means that at the top is 100% of the volume, and down the bottom is 0 of the volume. And then we can, have an amount in between here as well. So over here, we just routed it to volume at the moment, but you can see there's lots of other things that you can route it to as well. And we're going to talk about them later. We have a rate down the bottom here as well. Just do yourself a favor and unclick these 2 buttons and it makes your life a lot easier. Now I can move the rate around. It's just pretty standard times. Let's just keep it on 1/4 note for now. The other thing that you might actually want to use is the split function down the bottom right here. And that just means that this blue region, whatever it is, if I click it, it changes. This blue region, the low frequencies, it's going to be affecting the blue region only. And according to where this slider sits. So everything below 462 hertz here is going to be ducked, and everything above isn't. And this is good if you want to preserve a transient. So you can hear the top of the bass line isn't being ducked, but the bottom actually is. Let's move on. Level 2. So I've got the exact same MIDI here, and I've just tweaked an operator so it sounds like this. What I'm going to do here is actually grab an echo unit and just crank the dry wet all the way up. Now I'm going to grab LFO Tool and place it after this echo unit. Now this is the way that I probably use LFO Tool most frequently. If you have this button clicked on here, then you can actually see the waveform, right? So again, unclick these 2 buttons, they're a nuisance, and I put it onto 1 bar. So I can see the waveform, and if this is set to 1 bar and the snap is set to 16, which means that each one of these grid lines, which it snaps to, is going to be equivalent to a 16th note, which is great. So if I hold shift, what happens is I can click and drag and make steps here. And that means that now I essentially have a 16th note step sequencer, but I'm sequencing the volume. I can look at what this echo unit is spitting out and then start to shape it up. So maybe I want to bring this all down and then just start clicking around and just see what happens. I'm going to increase the smooth amount to prevent these clicks. Let's just click around and see if we can find some grooves in here. So we've taken the output of this echo and we're shaping it with an LFO tool. What happens if I get another echo unit, place it on here, and just change the rate to something else? Fiddle around here. Let's see what happens. So now the output of this is being delayed again. Oh, I like that. So we're using the device here for volume shaping, and I'm shaping the output of an echo unit. I want to introduce this filter section over here as well. This box that's lit up, if I click on this panel, you can see that everything disappears here, and that's because we're viewing the filter. If I turn the filter on, you can see it. I've got a cutoff slider here, I've got a resonance
I got mix, and I also have access to a shitload of other filters that you can use. And they're really interesting and fun. We're going to get to that later. So I've got my filter on. It's just sitting there. How do I make it move? We go over the LFO routing. This is how you make things move, right? And now I can route this shape also to a filter moving as well. And this slider dictates how much it moves, right? And so I can tweak this to be a little bit higher or a little bit lower. Another fun knob to mess around with is this phase. This changes where it starts from. So instead of starting from over the left here, it'll start from wherever you set this number to. You can see the line moving very discreetly in the background there. It can be fun to start it from the middle here instead. So if you set the phase to 180. Let's click over to this filter and try a different filter mode as well. Let's mess around with one of these other ones. And now I have a fat knob. We also have a drive knob as well. So now we got a bit more low end, which is nice. So it's using volume and also this filter modulation to shape this echo unit to just bring through some of the echoes. And then it's going into another echo unit to just like echo around the edges of what's happening here. All right, so we can use this device for echo modulation. Let's get more complex with level 3. I'm gonna bring it up, and again, we're gonna change this to 16th. So I've got my 16th note step sequencer here. I'm just gonna actually bring this down and then just like kind of hit some of these things and just... So right now I've just got this volume selected, but I'm going to go over to the filter and check out some of these miscellaneous and flange filters. I really like this ring modulation filter. We also have these different pages at the top. I've never found this incredibly useful, to be honest, but on 2 different pages, I've created different like stepping things going on, and then I've just randomly modulated these to different things. So we got a little bit of modulation on the volume, a little bit of modulation on the cutoff. So this is a pretty intense effect. So what I've, right? It's pretty crazy. So what I've actually done is just split it and just have it affecting the high end, which is this ring modulator. And so it's giving me a little bit of tone. I'm just gonna roll with that for now. And grab an echo unit. Again, we love echo. And what could be fun in this case is getting another LFO tool. I'm going to go to my snap, and instead of being 16, I'm going to go 32 because we're 2 bars. And so now I can, you can do the same thing and just see what happens. I'm liking this ring modulation filter, so let's keep going. What's the ring times 2? Okay. It's very choppy right now, so I'm gonna get another delay and put that afterwards and start tweaking into this delay so I can actually hear. And actually maybe I'll split this one as well and do it more low frequencies. That's kind of cool. So these ones are quite experimental, as you can see. This filter sounds terrible except for in this one spot that I found. Like, if you check this out, as I move it up and down, it's really atonal. But there's this one little spot in there for some reason. Right there. Has a nice tone. It's got a nice groove to it as well. Sounds completely different when I turn it on, turn it off, but I'm not done. Because whilst the next level is more complex, it's actually more useful as well. I want to introduce to you a device I made that takes this same concept, but just ramps it up to the extreme. It's a series of 5 LFO tool devices and multiple echo units, and it just turns anything into dub steps, essentially. The idea is to start with an elongated chord or pad sample or anything with enough movement. So I've just got a single MIDI note, a chord device, a preset, and then I'll put Dubify on afterwards. The audio goes in and it essentially shapes it, and I mapped a whole bunch of things to it so you can just click around with this and see what happens. So maybe I want to modulate this filter to move around here. I'm just going to make this like maybe 15%. And it's just very slowly moving that around. So you can see how overboard I went in this device. There's so many different LFO units doing different things. This one is like shaping it over 4-bar period, whereas this one is giving it a little bit of shape per quarter note. This first one is giving it the actual pluck shape itself. This device was made in Ableton 12, so it doesn't work in any other versions, unfortunately. But if you want it, I guess I can just put it in the first line of the description. I will in return ask very politely for your email address. To be honest, email is where I do most of my communication with people anyway. Tips and hot takes, and randomly just host guests in there from time to time as well. So if you already like this video, and on top of that, you also want to download this thing, then you're probably going to like the emails as well. Just saying. So you've made it this far. You've made it this far into the video. I'm about to show you something really spicy. I mean, everything we've done, yes, it has been complex, but this takes it up a step. This explodes the different possibilities that we can do with this thing. I love this. I love it. If you cast your eyes down to the left side, we see there's a MIDI panel over here. There's lots of things we can do with MIDI as well. Doesn't have to just be set by this rate here. You can trigger it if you want to. So what I'm going to do is set the note retrig. Click it once, click it twice, and it says E and V there. It's really hard to read, but it does say that. Just going to make a shape like this so you'll hear what it's actually doing. First and foremost, I need to put a sound in there, and then I need to route some MIDI to this guy. So I've currently got a very static note. So let's get this to be responding to some MIDI. So if I grab this bass line here, I'm going to drag it down so that we can focus in on what is going on here. I'm going to get the LFO tool to respond to the MIDI in this guy. How the hell do we do that? So one way we could do it is by duplicating the track and then just deleting this device and then routing the MIDI here to the LFO tool. We could do that, but just for fun, because we like being complex here, grouping this with Command G and then open up the chain selector. And then I'd make a new chain. What's happening here is now we're splitting this into 2 different chains. We have drift doing its thing here like it was before. And now you have nothing on this one. But you can see that there is a little yellow line bump jumping up and down, and that is corresponding to the MIDI notes are coming in here, but nothing is triggering the MIDI, so nothing is happening. We're duplicating the MIDI here. So we've got a chain, this I'm just call this MIDI. So we've got 2 different chains of the exact same MIDI happening. If I was to grab an external instrument, this just allows us to route the MIDI to our hardware instruments, but we can also route it to other tracks in our project. If I grab this and route it into Creative Retrigger. So I go to Creative Retrigger, no, wrong one, Creative Retrigger. You can see that it actually has detected there's an LFO unit there. Now, when I go into my LFO, see how it's being triggered by that MIDI note now? This is just the start. I'm gonna turn this into a chord. So instead of playing one note, it's gonna play a chord. Let's get my chord unit, 3, 7, and that is a minor chord. Kind of like that. So you can see how this is layering with these MIDI notes now, but where it gets interesting is I can create a rhythm in here based on these things. So the snap is 4, the rate is 1/4, so these are 16th notes here. And remember, we've got this cutoff here as well, this filter. So let's mess around with the filter, create some rhythms with this. I'm going to make a bit more of a plucky shape. Maybe we can just make 4 plucks. And just change the height. Maybe we go this. I'm going to go onto page 2 now and make a different shape for the filter. Let's go and assign page 2 to this filter cutoff. That's kind of sounding interesting. Maybe we can just mess around. Let's go one of these phase filters. So we can take this another step further even. And if I go down the bottom here and click this arrow here, I've got this config button. So if I hit configure and then whatever I click is going to show up over here. So I could actually modulate the filter cutoff outside of this plugin also. And we know that I love to use the LFO device built in within Ableton and then just map this to this filter cutoff and just watch it kind of move slowly. That's kind of a cool effect. The great thing about LFO Tool is like I always have complete control over what my sounds are doing within a 1-bar loop, right? So I've just shaped up the output of this even more so to really emphasize the groove that I want. And we can really go as ham as we want on this. Instead of doing MIDI notes here, I can start using a sequencer. I love just modulating stuff. I think I have to stop myself from using this for the next 4 hours. There's so much fun to be had with LFO Tool, with something like this. There's so many endless possibilities. And this is what I love about music production as well. So go have fun with it. Go experiment. Just see what you can do. So thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this style of video, then you're probably going to enjoy this one too. Nice.